we decided to participate in a world where you have to pay to live. So this is interesting. So since we all decided that we would participate in a society that is imbalanced, where you came in with your natural inclination of life because the divine breathed into man and man became a living soul. So now you are a living, breathing soul and all your needs were provided for, but yet somehow we allow this social environment to shift us to being in perpetual slavery, participating in a system where you have to pay to live, which is bizarre because you have to breathe every day, given your heart continues to pump and your lungs continue to work. And yet you have to pay to live and to maintain that function of breathing that's given by divine order. So in my trek of my circumstances, my life here, the social experiment, in my personal trek to personal development, healing through circumstances, because Lord, ignorant people in general are dangerous because their ignorance causes them to make bad decisions. Their ignorance causes them to do things that encroach on the harm of what? Paying to live for somebody else. Myself. Here I'm living the life of a fully functioning reanimated African. Why? Because that was my journey. I didn't intend to come into the world and assimilate. Although I tried on all those hats, bells, and whistles, and I did all those things and discovered that I still did not feel whole. I still did not radiate and emote in the way that I wanted to. So I set on the trek for the past 35 years, creating that end. And in so doing, I still need to pay to live. You still need work, jobs. I have a bag full of work IDs. 32 years of working experience. Since 2008, I noticed some trends. So I said, let me begin to catalog this experience. So from 2018 to 2025, I have had 106 job interviews. Some of those job interviews require 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 interactions, interviews, proposals, presentations, practicals, okay? So basically, all of these various employers passively fishing, which should have been considered consultations because they're taking value from me, someone with 32 years of working experience, formal and informal education, lived experience, international training, and all of the above. Bells and whistles and clap it ups is from the Matrix, right? So when I come in to service you in any other space, because now I need to pivot to build network, to build relationships. Because once you reach a certain level of professional growth, you now need people to open doors and pat you on the back and give you bells and whistles so that you can pass through, so you can also participate in the society that we've all agreed to pay to live. So when they don't do that after receiving value, and since I'm the person that I am, you guys know I'm Nephara. I serve from a silver platter, and I also serve from a silver platter, which is intent of honoring the divine in you. I don't give you slop. I serve my best possibility. If I'm coming in to do it, I'm going to do it at my best ability. So what happened? Malicious withholding. They refused to do their part. I've already done 95% of the work. All they needed to do was 5%. My life, the social experiment, where we have all agreed to participate in a society where you have to pay to live, where some Africans, their ignorance is dangerous because they are unbeknownst to themselves, and maybe some of them are aware, that they are diametrically opposed to an African like myself who is becoming a fully functional and reanimated African by virtue of where they stand in the matrix, which is attempting to get a better seat for themselves in the master's house. So they see me as competition. So with all my goodness that I've come to give them in consultation, in service, in community service, in volunteering, in on boards, in consultations, small and large mini businesses, right? When it's time for reciprocity, even those brainstorming sessions, listen, it's value having a conversation with me. There is value in having a conversation with me. I am going to put in a lot of supplements because I've done so much research and so much work, and I've also done it from an African-centered lens, from an integrities lens. You understand? So my life, the social experiment, as I'm moving and grooving and moving all through this society, attempting to build a functional life where I do not have to be in opposition to myself, in denial of my ancestry, in denial of my habit and my heritage, right? We've all come through these habits that we have to break so that we can create new habits, and the habits of our ancestors, we begin to embody those things as we have done our research and we live the work. I say all the time, I teach this work, but I also live this work because two things are happening simultaneously. And it is an iterative experience consistently because the matrix operates 24, 365, 7 days a week, nonstop. So get into it, African. How about that malicious withholding? Other Black people who intentionally withhold possibility, reference, support out of their commitment and scarcity and learned helplessness and Stockholm syndrome, right? And they're samboing in the matrix where they refuse to hand the support of what we've all agreed to participate in a world where you have to pay to live. So all this malicious withholding has intentionally impacted my free flow of movement and my quality of life. But because I keep a smile, somehow they always believe I got extra. I got extra space to give them I got extra space to entertain their foolishness, extra space for their foolishness. So they refuse. But they have the bells and whistles and clap it up from the matrix, right? Many, I could tell you I've worked with for years, and yet they still refuse. So how can you create community? You cannot create community if you do not honor the divine within others. If you do not respect the talent, time, and capacity that others bring you, particularly Black people, because we don't have excess. So every time I've given time, talent, energy, support to anyone in any organization or any job or any brainstorming session, I was taken away from someplace I could have been positioning those assets for my own benefit. But I gave them freely and I served from a silver platter. So our people, we're dangerous because our ignorance makes us dangerous, right? Our lack of attention to the fact that we are functioning as agents of the matrix causes us to be dangerous to each other. Because this didn't happen one time. I tell you, African, it happens nearly 100% of the time, 99.99999. So I see the trends. Grandma said, they're writing on the wall. I see the trends. So that means there's something that we are not doing right since we claim we're trying to build community, but we're not willing to give the olive branch. We're not willing to be in reciprocal energy because these people have received service from me already. They've already received value from me already. But because I give it in natural service, it appears like, oh, we were just talking. I've gone to luncheons, dinners, award ceremonies, supported your efforts, supported your business, traipse you all over the internet through all of my being, right? In genuine support of Black owned, we buy Black, right? What reciprocal? Nothing. Snotty, attitude, shoulder, shirking. This is what we're dealing with our people because our people are dangerous when they are ignorant and because they are suffering from learned helplessness and Stockholm syndrome and a scarcity mentality. And they're offended by me. You're offended by me, but you know something? Young people today say, get out of the mud. I can't even begin to tell you how much mud I got it out of. I can't even begin to tell you. And then we are lacking in the compassion for one another, that we will be withholding and we will refuse the basics of, because you need money to live, right? You need the capital in order to operate in this society because we've all agreed to participate in a society where you have to pay to live. So I need to tell you, because I'm not a pity party nor a charity case. So I never lead in with those things. Oh, I've been through this. Oh, I've been through that. Oh, I've achieved that. Oh, I've overcome this. Why? I've already given you service. I've given you value. It is now your turn to return value. So if you're able to sleep at night after having extracted from someone, anyone, but particularly me, but you don't know where I've come from. You don't know where I pivoted from. You don't know the journey that I've made. My life, the social experiment, because I've been building into becoming whole. I've been building into becoming more of myself. Nina Simone said, I'm going to become so much of myself that you'll have no choice but to see all of me. And in so doing, you'll see parts of yourself. And that, something, people recoil when they look at me. This is what causes that. They recoil because they're not there. They shy away. They shrink. I'm the problem. I'm intimidated. No, you're small. And you shouldn't be because your ancestors weren't small. Peace, power, and blessings, African. Sawubona and namaste. The divine in me honors and respects the divine in you. Peace. I just wanted to drop that one in you every time. Peace and blessings.